It's here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 31 Days of Cutfiles. Today I am also combining that with the Iron Crafter Challenge, and we are to use flowers today. I'm also combining it with Mixed Media Mayhem, which is using this Hip Kit uh, design team piece from Audrey Yeager. Sorry. And I was inspired to pull out my watercolor, which is great because we are also using watercolors for Messy Monday. So the more watercolor I can use this month, the better. And I am pulling in the cut file for today, which is this awesome rainbow, which has a sun in the middle and a couple of um, clouds. And so I'm going to go ahead and use my watercolor to back the rainbow. I'm just using a piece of white paper, white cardstock, and I am going to use my shimmers paints to color the arches. I'm going to be using She Packs a Punch, which is pink. I'm going to use Daffodil, which is yellow, and Let Us Get Together, which is green. And I really like these colors. I think they work really well. In case you're wondering what I'm documenting today, I have two photos of the girls I take care of, and they are building a leprechaun trap. And so I thought this would be perfect because somehow every time I look at that rainbow, the sun looks like a pot to me. I know, weird. I don't know, maybe it looks like a pot to you as well, but I'm going to trim off the little rays that are coming out of it and make it look like a pot of gold. So, uh, yeah, a little different, but I think it's going to work well. If not, I can always recut my rainbow and start over and make it back into a sun, but I think it's going to work, so we're going to go with it and give it a good try. Okay, I've got those, well, almost got those painted up, but just putting a really good coating on them to give some depth of color. I'm not making sure that it's like all the same uh, lightness and darkness or anything like that. I kind of like the differentiation. And then I'm also painting up my clouds with this silver color. I thought I'd use the white, but the white doesn't really show anything on top of the white paper. So I'm adding the silver, which is going to give it a little bit of a sheen. Little did I know, I actually painted the wrong side of the clouds. So I'm gonna have to go back and paint the other side over again. So you might see me do that. I'm not sure if I left that in the video or not, but the clouds are not, I don't know, they're not perfectly symmetrical, so you can't flip it upside down and fill that space back in. I'm just going to use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere these down. I'm going to put my top arch in and my bottom arch, and then I'm going to put the middle one in, so that way I don't have to do any trimming of the middle one in case it's a little bit wider. The top one or the bottom one, they fit just fine. I don't know if the yellow one was any different or not, but um, that was my thinking. I'll just do the top and bottom, and then the yellow one will fit in right between. And so that's going to work out just great. And you guys have probably seen backing of cut files a lot this month, so you probably didn't even need to see all of this. But my video is not super long, so I figured I would leave that in. And then I'm just trying to figure out exactly the placement of the photos and how that's going to look. I do, however, need some gold coins, and I don't have any of that in my stash, so I was like, what am I going to do? So I found a piece of paper that has gold foiling on it, and it's a piece from Heidi Swapp. So it's also large stripes, so the whole paper is not gold foiled, but it's just a large striped paper. So I cut the stripes out, and then in our one of our travels, we have picked up some coins from different countries. So I went and pulled out a couple of those because I could have used American coins, but I was looking for coins that would fit the same dimensions as my punches, so I didn't have to sit there and fussy cut all of the coins out. So I pulled out some coins that worked with the dimensions I had. A couple of them, I believe, are maybe some British coins, and a couple of them are Mexican coins. And I don't even know what they're called, you guys, honestly, um, and how much the the coins were worth. But what I did was I stacked the coin with a piece of foam, and I ran it a piece of foam, and then my, sorry, the coin, the gold paper, then a piece of foam, and then I ran it through my die cut machine, and that foam allowed it to take an impression of the coin. So the paper came out with those impressions. They're not super clear, which is great. I just want them to give the idea of money. I didn't want them to be like, oh, what denomination is this? What coin is this? What year was it made? I didn't want all of that detail. I just wanted it to have a nod to money. So um, that's what I did, and that's how I got that pile of coins that is on the left-hand side of my screen. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got enough to fit inside my um, my pot and cover that left-hand cloud. Basically, trying to just play around with it and see how it looks with them all spilling out. It's all really just kind of a test to see if it works. That's why nothing's really glued down on that side of the layout. The photos are glued down and the one cloud is up on foam. So once I figured out that it is okay, I'm going to go ahead and ink up the pot in black. And I just used the backside of the one of the clouds to kind of mark off the white outline from the other cloud so that I don't make the cloud black. Hopefully that makes sense. I didn't want to make the cloud on the right hand side black. I wanted to protect the border around it. And I think that worked really well. And now that I've got a good idea of what I'm doing here, I'm going to go ahead and glue my cloud down. Um, Also did not want to do any of that inking until I was sure it was going to be a pot. Don't know what I would have done otherwise, maybe glued um, the sun rays back on, or maybe just cut the the pot out or the sun out and left the two clouds separately. I'm not sure. Or maybe I would have recut it. Um, so a lot of this is just a little bit of trial and error and just figuring it out as I go. I wasn't really sure how it was going to work with the coins either, but a couple of them had a really good impression. And actually, the really small coin had quite a raised edge on it, and it actually pretty much cut the edge of the coins out, so I didn't even have to punch those. That was a really nice surprise. I didn't expect that. But in your crafting, don't be afraid to like try things. It's just paper, right? If it doesn't work out, uh, there's always more paper, especially white paper. That's why mixed media is so fun to try because if it doesn't work out, there's no harm and no foul. You can just get another piece of white paper out. Aside from losing a little bit of product, you have gained a ton of knowledge on what not to do, and uh, and hopefully maybe your project did turn out. Okay, so I went to my stash of thickers, found these green sparkly ones. I am going to make the title that says Leprechaun Trap. While I do that, I want to remind you there are a bunch of people playing along with the Iron Crafter Challenge where we are going to be using flowers. So I will be adding some flowers to this layout. I'm also playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem, and that is where everyone is using the same inspiration piece to inspire their layouts. And so the links for both of those are down below. There's also a Facebook group for Mixed Media Mayhem you can join, as well as a uh, group. The group for Iron Crafter is the Paper Snob. Um, that is Tara's group, and she hosts this challenge. So you can go and check out her group as well for more information on that. There's also a link to MK's channel and a playlist for 31 Days of Cut Files in case you've missed anything that has been presented before today's layout. You can go and check those out really easily. I did have to do a little Frankensteining to make a C into an E to create my word leprechaun. And then I have the word trap, and I am going to have to cut a G, I believe. I think I'm cutting a G to make the letter. Oh, maybe I'm cutting a Q. I'm cutting a Q to make the letter A for the word trap, and then I'm trying to figure out if I like this scripty letter P, which could also be an uppercase D, or if I want the regular one. I end up going with the regular one, I think. I kind of went back and forth just to make sure that that wasn't a different letter, like I wasn't misreading the letters because they have very they have quite a few options on this between D's, B's, P's, and Q's. Yeah, you got a lot of options. So there's my title, Leprechaun Traps, and I realized when you put the gold down up at the top of that left-hand cloud that the L is a little bit hard to read on camera, but in real life, it's not hard to read at all. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm bringing in some really old Recollections florals just to give some texture and also because it is a required element for the Iron Crafter Challenge, but I also really liked it because it feels like it's adding to the billowiness of the cloud or the fluffiness of the cloud. So I really liked that idea. And it's just kind of like a, um, I don't want to say it plays a trick on your eyes, but visually it just gives that feel of some fluffiness for the clouds and not quite so flat. So I think that's really cool. I am going to add a couple of labels at the bottom of this layout, and I did that off screen, so you're not going to see me do that, but you'll see it in the close-ups. So you're going to want to check that out. And that is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this one and my different take on this sun with the sun being a pot of gold. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another one. So come back then. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.